Welcome to The Healthy Adventurist. I'm your host, Steve Brisky. Today I'd like to talk about juicing. We'll start with the blender. The various types of products out there are Vitamix, as we all know, NutriBullet, or just a plain old blender. And they all just have a high-speed blade within the container. And that's great for breaking up the solids into a puree. And then some people, I always hear the word smoothie. And whenever I hear the word smoothie, I always think cold. People put in the frozen fruits, they put in cold or ice cubes, or their milk or a goat milk. Anything to cool it down. And we're going to talk about cool versus warm in a minute. But that's the puree form. And the other one is a masticator. The difference between the puree and the masticator is, in the puree, we're going to have 100% of the ingredients. The blueberries, the strawberries, the yogurt, whatever it is we're adding all stays contained. And then afterwards, of course, very easy to clean, just a quick rinse. The other form is a masticator. The masticator will take larger volumes of fruits or vegetables and separate out the pulp into a little catch basin. And then the juice is going to have a lot less pulp in it. Maybe some of you are asking one over the other preferred. I like to do all my fruits in here. My morning smoothies, banana, blueberries, strawberries, kiwi, whatever it may be. I love to do my fruit juices in there. Or I should say not juice, because the juice is more with the pulp removed. But I like to do my fruit purees in here. And to liquefy them, to make them blend a little easier, I like to add something like a oat milk or a goat milk yogurt. Both are excellent. Some people prefer just having regular dairy milk, whatever your preference is. But I don't like it cold. Now, before I get into the masticator, I want to talk about the benefits of warm. Now, I say I don't like it cold, I don't like the smoothies. The reason being is the body is a digestive two-step process. Our teeth, which masticates, grinds up into a puree, and then we swallow, and it goes into the digestive system. If we chewed it thoroughly enough, it should be a puree. But in most of our lifestyles, we eat really quick, we're in a hurry, and we take 2 or 3 bites and we swallow. So now we're eating chunks of food. The second step of the process in the digestion is how much enzymes did we mix in with our saliva into the food. So how well was it pureed, and how much digestive enzymes were secreted into the food from our body? Those are 2 very important questions. Once we swallow it and it gets into the peristalsis of the stomach, that's going to warm it up to body temp, and it's going to mix everything up. And the enzymes, I always call them little Pac-Men. They're just eating the food. If we pureed it or masticated it well, the enzymes do incredible at breaking everything down. So now we've taken in a piece of food, we've masticated it into a puree, and then the enzymes in the digestive down in the stomach are going and they're breaking it down into the elemental form. So for example, a protein. You eat protein, you chew it really well, masticate it well, it comes down into the stomach. The enzymes are breaking it down into what? Amino acids. Protein's made from amino acids. Our body needs amino acids. So when everyone goes, oh, did you have your protein intake? It's really, did you have your amino acid intake? And the body will break it down into the amino acids, and then the body takes the amino acids and gets to build what it needs. So it dismantles the food into elemental form, or elemental building blocks, and then it builds what it needs. So you need that protein intake, you need that complex carbohydrate intake, you need the fats and oils, and you need fiber. All the food in front of me is rich in fiber. And we're going to talk about the benefits of fiber in 1 minute. But let's go back to the temperature. Temperature of cold is not good because the enzymes are like, they're cold-blooded if you want to say that. They need warmth to work. And they work optimally at 98.6 degrees, the human body temperature. So if you're adding ice, you're drinking your cold drinks, you're drinking your iced tea filled with ice cubes, or your soda that's chilled in the fridge, or your cold beer, all the cold intake sabotages the environment. The environment in the stomach needs to be body temp, 98 degrees. And if you're sipping cold drinks while you're eating, the enzymes are sluggish and they're not doing their job. They only have a small window of opportunity. You swallow, and it's a conveyor belt. It just keeps moving. The food doesn't hang out for days. You don't want it to hang out for days unless you're constipated, and then that's a whole nother nightmare. But it moves through in 24 hours. And as it goes through, it only has a small window of a few hours to maximize the digestion. So as we masticate, mix the enzymes, and then peristalsis, it mixes in the stomach, and then it goes into small intestine, and the small intestine absorbs, wants to pull all those nutrients, all the nutritional benefits out of there, but it needs to be broken completely down. So, how does that apply to this? First of all, we start with organic fruits and vegetables, fresh. Second, if we put it in either one of these, the mastication process is there. You do get a full puree that's masticated. You can't get any better than that. Usually try chewing like a piece of fruit, piece of cantaloupe. You chew it. If you're lucky, it'll completely melt in 10 to 20 bites. It just dissolves. So try to do an eating meditation. Try to chew 50 bites on a cantaloupe. It just like vaporizes. It just goes right down the throat. But what about your heavier foods, your proteins, your high fiber foods? They really need to be well chewed or masticated. So on our busy lifestyle, we don't take the time a lot to eat. Some people eat standing. Some people eat while they're talking to other friends or on the phone. Some people are just eating and then running out the door, and they don't chew 10, 15, 20 bites for every mouthful. That's where the beauty and the benefits come in from juicing. You've pureed it. Two-step process. The mastication process is voluntary, and it's how much time we put into it, how much effort we put into the mastication. So, you live in a busy lifestyle, help masticate, puree, masticator. Both of those benefit. Now, that's where we usually sabotage our digestion. The other one, of course, is stress, anxiety. You know, the body needs to relax. Now, the second part is the enzymes. We need that warmth for the enzymes. If it's cool and we're sabotaging it with cold, that's why I always say with the puree or a blender, let it be room temp or a little cooler. And then as you slowly sip it and mix it in your mouth with the saliva, it'll warm up to room temp. But if you're drinking a pretty good volume, you'd be amazed. You're not really getting it up to room temp, to body temp. And when you get it into the body, it stays cold for a while. So you're sabotaging yourself with the colder foods. So I always say room temp or warm soups, best. Now and then you have a cold food, great. But don't every meal have cold drinks, ice drinks, frozen, smoothies. Bad habit to be in. And most people will say, oh, I always have a big glass of iced tea or a big glass of ice soda or a big cold beer while I'm eating. Hey, let's do the warm food and then cool beer, cool iced tea in between meals. In the mastication process, we remove the bulk of the pulp. There's still a fair amount, still like 10% goes over. Well, 10% doesn't sound like much, but when you're doing a whole stalk of celery, you're doing a whole bunch of cilantro, you're doing a whole apple, and you put all those ingredients in there, you're going to fill this up with pulp. So the point is, we're going to not sit and eat all of this because we're going to be stuffed, and it's going to take us half hour to an hour to chew all that thoroughly into a puree. But if we have it in a juice form, we can get way more nutritional benefits. So now we're getting 4 to 8 times the amount of nutritional benefits, because we'd probably eat maybe a few of the stalks. We probably would have a couple pieces of the cilantro and maybe half the apple, and that would be a meal. Now we're able to increase the volume of the nutritional benefits and just have it in a concentrated form. What about the pulp? Like I said, you're already getting enough pulp that comes through the screen for your daily intake. The extra pulp, if you don't want it, mix it in with the garden, pour it on the lawn. It's a great source of nutrition for your garden or your lawn. The other option, which is an awesome option, is you can actually make veggie burgers out of this. It's the perfect starting point. And then add a binder. Binder could be beans. It could be black beans, red beans, white beans, the northern beans. You could use eggs if you're okay with eating eggs, depending on your diet. Are you vegan, vegetarian, carnivore? Whatever your diet is, you can put in the appropriate binder that will help hold the pulp. And then you can add some other spices to it if you want. What do you like in your burger? Do you like peppers, onions, a little bit of garlic? Probably saute the garlic up and onions and a little bit of olive oil. Mix in some, say, white beans and the pulp. Mix it up really well. Make your patties. Put it in the oven or fry it up in some olive oil, almond oil, sesame oil, any type of oils, however you want to cook it, baked, broiled, fried. Awesome veggie burgers. Now let's just go over a couple things here. One is, I always do my fruit smoothies in here. Love them. Like to have them at room temp. That's like my morning drink. I like to have a sweeter intake in the morning. And that sweeter intake is my energy to get me rolling. And then in the afternoons and evenings, I enjoy more of like the red beets, the kale, the chard type juices, or coming from the masticator. And those are great to have midday or mid-afternoon. The body, if it takes in the sugars, has all that extra energy. Midday, late day, early evening, I like to start switching over to vegetables and proteins. The body needs that energy, and it makes you more sleepy. At night, you'll sleep much better, deeper sleep. If you're drinking a fruit puree at night, then you got all that sugar, you got all that energy, it's waking you up. You want to sleep deep. So morning fruits, afternoon, evening vegetables. If you want to add a little fruit to sweeten it because it's a little sour or tart from your herbs, be it parsley or cilantro, or if you add in, say, a ginger or turmeric, any of those might be a little too tart or sour for you. So you can add in apples or carrots to kind of sweeten it up. Another one would be kiwi. I like to take and just cut off the knobs of the ends of the kiwi and eat the fruit whole. The skin on the outside is phenomenal for nutritional benefits. And to learn more about the nutritional benefits of any fruits or vegetables or herbs, you can go online. I mean, the internet's incredible for a resource of information on the nutritional benefits. Or you can look on my website, healthyadventurist.com, and we go over that stuff, interact in the blogs. We're building a community of people to help each other out to understand the nutritional benefits and, what are your ailments, glaucoma, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Any of those types of ailments you can address naturally. Let's use one example. My background being a pharmaceutical biochemist working in the Western medicine and then switching over to the Eastern of Chinese medicine and herbs and acupuncture, and then also having a great fascination and learning Ayurvedic medicine of healing through foods herbs. And breathing. Whew. Excellent. It's what a lifestyle should be. Food, herbs, and breathing. That's how we become the healthy adventurist. So this is my healthy side, and outside, as I'm looking out at Rocky Mountain National Park right now, is my adventurous side. So wherever I'm traveling, I like to eat healthy and I like to play hard, like a new adventure everywhere I go. And some of my future shows coming up here are eating with other people. What is their healthy intake? And what is their favorite activity? So check out my website and let me know what you think of some of our adventures and some of our guests and their lifestyles. We've talked about a lot of the benefits. We want to talk about seasonal foods. Summertime, we want to cool the body. So summertime's great for celery, cucumbers, apples, honeydew, watermelon, cantaloupe. All those are cooling foods. And in the summer, we want to cool the body. And then warming foods would be turmeric, ginger, peppers, some of your heartier kale and chards. Those are great for wintertime. So depending on how you feel and what your needs are, warming and or cooling, you can pick the right recipes. You can go on healthyadventurous.com and look at some of the warming and cooling type recipes. The last thing I want to talk about is oxidation. Oxidation is a word that everyone throws around, but does anyone understand it? Oh, I need antioxidants. Well, you're being oxidized. On the planet Earth, oxygen everywhere. Oxygen is O2, two oxygens. If we break them, now we have a free radical. We have an oxygen running around looking to bind with something, be it another oxygen, or if we take a fresh piece of metal and we sand it and make it raw and put it outside, then a few days it gets oxidized. What did we call it? Rust. So when iron gets oxidized, it turns into iron oxide. When the body gets oxidized, it damages our processes. We want to take in antioxidants to combat or remove the free radicals. How do we do that? Well, you've heard strawberries, blueberries, raspberries are natural antioxidants. All of your fruits and vegetables have antioxidants in them. Eat them fresh, eat them organic. Eat them in puree or smoothie, or masticate into a juice, but get those antioxidants in. And then we also want to get in our vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients. So how do we do that? Don't go take a multivitamin. It's so oxidized, processed, encapsulated, sitting on a shelf for weeks and months. It's no good. Would you eat this in 3 months from now? No. But everyone runs out and they buy all their multivitamins, they buy all their supplements, they buy their protein powders. Oxidized, processed, forget it. Everything's right here. Now, if you love to now and then partake in junk food, processed food, drive-thrus, quick made foods, it's fine. But if you take in your daily fruits and vegetables through your juicing, then go ahead and go through the drive-thru or go out to friends with dinner, for dinner or whatever. Have your beer and all your appetizers, at the restaurant or outdoors. Awesome. But really get your daily intake, your antioxidants, and all of your nutritional benefits daily. So in the morning, your fruit. In the afternoon, you can do your mixed fruit and vegetable or vegetable juices. You're doing awesome. The other topic I'd like to address is, as an acupuncturist, a lot of people come in, you check their pulse, look at their body, their skin, their hair, hear what their lifestyle's all about. Rule number 1. I always say 16 ounces of water right by your bedside. Well, by your bedside, it's going to be room temp. Better than ice or cold water out of the fridge. We want it at least room temp. Get up out of bed, 16 ounces of water in, hydrate the body. we've been dehydrating or breathing out moisture all night long. So now we're dehydrated right when we get up. We're the most dehydrated usually right when we get up, unless we're doing some real strenuous exercise or out on a hot day, we're going to get dehydrated also. But just in a general day, you wake up in the morning, most dehydrated, let's rehydrate. Get the water in. People will say, oh, well, I hydrate. I drink 2 cups of coffee. Yes, you're drinking a liquid, but what's in that coffee? Caffeine. Caffeine is a natural diuretic. So now you're just activating your diuretic, is just getting more fluid out. You're dehydrating more. So first, start with 16 ounces of water. If you want to do a little breathing exercises, get some air in, some oxygen in, a little stretching in, get the water hydrating and lubricating the joints. Awesome. Then I like to go and have, in this case, today would be a celery, cilantro, and apple juice. Some mornings I just do celery. Other mornings I might add some of the other fruits or herbs. Then midday, if I'm able to go out and have a good lunch or make a lunch at home, I sit and chew thoroughly, as we talked about the mastication process. If I'm in a really busy work mode and I don't have time to sit and chew thoroughly and relax and enjoy my meal and get all the processes, flowing correctly, the saliva, the mastication, and everything else to have a good digestive process and really benefit from a good meal, then what I'll have is, alternate would be my juice. You have an excellent, high, potent, nutritional juice of, say, beets, carrots, and maybe apples. Or I might do chard and kiwi or cucumber. You find out what your palate prefers. A little sweeter, add a kiwi or add an apple or add a carrot. A little more bitter or sour. You can do just the chard and kale with a little zinger in it. In this case, ginger. Look at the recipes online on my website, or just look up any juicing recipes, Google them, and have a great time, either pureeing or masticating. Well, I think that's it for now. Again, healthyadventurous.com. I'll be posting various juicing recipes, nutritional benefits, videos on juicing, and also videos on activities, outdoor adventures. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you out on the trail. Thanks for joining me.